Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Imperfect Action Show, where we connect with six, seven, eight-figure earners and figure out what made them, or what led them, I should say, to take imperfect action to reach their successes, create momentum, and obviously impact and help so many people. In today's episode, we have on someone that we've been trying to get on the show for a very long time. A couple of text messages, a couple of emails, a couple of DMs, but it was all worth it. Super excited to have Myri Hayes, the group home queen, on the show today. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm good. Good to see you. I think the last time I spoke to was right before the Dubai trip. Right, like that's the last time we was on the phone. Like we definitely
Yes.
connected since, but that's the last time we had a chance to kind of like exchange some energy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Time flies though.
I
God, that
know.
was like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, that
Dang.
was December, and it don't even seem like it was that long ago. It seems like it
It
was a couple weeks ago.
doesn't.
Yeah. So I personally found it very interesting, like the category that you're in, like the category that you're thriving in, the one that you found success in, the one that you're able to impact so many people in, as far as these group homes and helping people set them up as well too. What kind of got you down that path with finding like this could be a great way for me to build a business?
Well, it goes back to my sister, um, who was bipolar schizophrenic. So that's why
Mm,
I ultimately started the business, but I didn't even realize like how lucrative this business would be. So once I did one home and I was like, wow, one home basically, you can make over $250,000 off of one home. I was
mm.
like, I think we should duplicate this. And after that, it was just like, let's just duplicate it. And we just
I
kept
hear you.
doing it.
So I'm gonna send a text out to the community really quick, let them know we're live. See if we can get some live questions in here. So what? Let's break it down to like the bare bones here. What actually constitutes a group home? Like what are the elements that would make a space a group home?
So basically, a group home is a residential property where people dwell there that are not of relation. So
Okay.
something uh, somebody was telling me it was college students together in a home and they were all paying basically for each room.
Yeah, each
That's
room.
technically a group home.
Oh, they,
It's
they, they
just
got those all over Boston then.
that's it. That's it. Because if you're not in any relation and everybody is responsible to pay a part or a piece, whether that is private paid or insurance paid or grant paid, it's still a group home.
I got you. So, all right. So I'm gonna take it back to when I was in real estate. So there was a lot of homes, and I would say like the Somerville, South Boston, maybe Waltham area, and they were like four bed to 7 bed, 2 or 3 bathrooms type of setup. And
Mhm.
I would always be serving like brand new, newly graduated young professionals that just moved to Boston that might work at Oracle or they may work at John Hancock or whatever, and they will want to live in these apartments together, and the rent would be like 4,000, 5,000, sometimes even $7,000, and then they would each pay their portion of the rent per room. Right? We would just
Yes.
break it down, divide it like that. So
Yes.
so I understand it in essence, right? So I'm a landlord. Okay, cool. That's what we got going on. But what would constitute, just like a regular, landlord doing something like that
Hmm.
in an actual group home? Is there paperwork that's different? Like what are
Oh
the
yeah.
nuances? What are the
Yeah.
nuances?
So mine's is a licensed group home. So I
Okay.
actually am contracted with the state of Arizona to do a licensed home. So yes, I have all kind of regulations.
Yep.
I have policies and procedures that I have to have in order to, go through my daily um, business dwelling,
Yeah.
dealings, I guess. Um, and so it's a little bit different. I'm also contracted with insurance companies. because the insurance companies are the ones that pay the majority, of the bill for the services that I give. Because
Okay.
my group home includes like therapy, you know, we do equine therapy, we do group therapy where therapists come in. It's more for SMI clients, which are severely mentally ill.
Okay.
And so they have different, situations going on where they need daily assistance.
So you
Yeah.
said so okay. So you have the license, you got the certifications, right?
Mm-hmm.
You set policies and procedures. So you're setting these up.
Uh-huh.
Are the insurance company paying? Local government paying? Like who is putting in the capital to fund these group homes?
Okay, so it's mostly paid through Medicaid, the
Okay.
people that I do. But then there are insurance companies that are, I guess, contracted with Medicaid. So not only do I have a contract with Medicaid, but I also have a contract with Care First. I have a contract with Mercy Care. These are actual insurance companies. So I can get clients different kinds of ways. So it's not just one way. There's a lot of group homes that are only credentialed with Medicaid, in that state. But, like I said, me myself, because I ended up scaling my business and I grew, I'm contracted with like 5 or 6 different insurances.
So yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so you have the the SMI folks that are in the spaces,
Hmm.
and are they in the homes for like a minimum amount of time, or for is it for how long are they in there for?
Normally they wanted to be like a 90-day stay,
Okay,
but it can turn into, we've had somebody 6 years.
got you.
Yeah, so average is supposed to be 90 days, but it doesn't work out that way because sometimes when they come, they need a lot of assistance. We teach them life skills so they
Mm.
can ultimately live on their own. But people go at their own pace. Somebody might be able to do it in 90 days, somebody else might need 9 months.
So in the group home, is it almost like a transitional period as well? Like they're coming in, they're gonna get some skills, they're gonna learn some stuff. They have a space that's safe, it's home, it's consistent, stable. Are they working? Are they going out and acquiring skills, or like how do like what allows them to then transition as opposed to someone staying longer?
We've had maybe 3 clients in the whole 6.5 years that had ended up getting a job before they left. A lot of these are more of severe cases
Mm,
to where um, they may need care the majority of their life, or they may not be in a position to work. Maybe like a volunteer basis or peer support or something like that, but not like a 9 to 5. It might give them anxiety, or it
yeah,
might be too much pressure. So
got you. So since you have these relationships with Medicaid and insurance company by way of Medicaid, are you having to market and advertise to get clients? It doesn't sound like you. It doesn't sound like you have to.
not really. my
Yeah,
my marketing budget is gift cards,
yeah,
coffee. I send my case managers things on the holidays. If I know that something happens, like one may mention, hey, my mom passed away,
yeah.
we make sure we send a card and uh and flowers and things like that. So that's my marketing budget, I guess.
And then what are the spaces looking like? So if someone is like, this sounds interesting, I would love to do something like this. What type of spaces are we talking about in terms of acquiring? Is it ownership? Is it rental? Are there's a couple? Are there certain minimums that these spaces need to have? Like how we acquiring the spaces?
Really, it can be a rental, It could be your own property. It could be like a partnership. You could partner with somebody that owns properties. Um, I even found out you can do this in an apartment as long as that apartment allows you to do it and the zoning is right, because that's the
Mm,
main thing. Whether you're renting or buying, you have to check zoning to make sure you can have a group home in whatever area you're in. And you definitely want to check with your HOA,
yeah,
because HOAs are like the mafia and they
facts.
will shut you down.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
so as besides that though, it could be, it could be a family. I've even had mentees that I consulted with, and I told them move out of your house and get an apartment and do a group home.
Mm,
Because if it's just you and your husband and y'all got a 4 or 5 bedroom house for your kids to come home and visit, no, get you a 2 bedroom apartment and you
yeah.
make that house a group home.
Now I hear you. Okay, I want to get a group home started, right? How much
Uh-huh.
how much capital do I need? How long do I need to get it up and running?
Mhm.
What's the foundation to get this going?
Okay, so it would actually depend on what type of group home. If you're trying to do a licensed group home like me, I would say you
Yeah.
need access to about $100,000, because
Okay.
you're going to have to. That home has to be totally set up before they come to survey the home. So you're going to need to have everything: beds, furniture, not just one room stage. The whole house has to be done. You
Mm,
have to have internet, all utilities, everything. So I would just say 100,000 to get you through until you can get reimbursement. Now, there are situations, there are people that do group homes where they just post, out there and say, hey, I got 7 beds in this house and they're renting for $600 a piece, because housing is so like critical right now. It's so much going on in housing. So I have people that are just setting up group homes where people are just paying per bed. Is it very lucrative? No, but it may help someone that's in a situation where they need money right now.
yeah.
You know? So it just kind of depends on what type of group home that you want to do.
So the one that you just described, and if you guys are watching in real time right now, drop your questions in the chat. Right, we're on with Mari Hayes talking about setting up group homes and getting to these bags. You're talking about $250,000 on a group home.
Yeah.
so so the ones that you were just talking about, if I'm just got a spot and breaking the beds down, I'm assuming those are the non-licensed ones.
Yes,
Okay.
those are the
Those
non-licensed.
are the
Yeah.
non-licensed ones. Okay. And those actually, without you explaining that those are also classified as group homes,
Yes.
those are the ones that I would more commonly see when just like a owner or maybe like a rental agent or maybe even a brokerage is managing a property and they might just be renting out the rooms for the landlord, or maybe the landlord might just be renting out the multiple rooms. So
Right.
that okay, so then they can maximize as much rent they can get per what the market rate for the bedroom may or may not be. So
Right.
if you're gonna rent out the whole unit and that unit might be like, let's say 2,000 or 3,000, it's a 2 or 3 bedroom, you might be able to get an extra 250, $300 per bed if you kind of break it up and rent it out,
Right.
per bedroom. But you're
Right.
saying going the license route, because the license route you're not gonna have to worry. It doesn't sound like you have to worry about getting people in there once it's set up the proper way. You have the proper relationship set up so they know this is
Mhm.
official group home. What is the zoning you have mentioned? Like what's the classification for the zoning?
My hand. Zoning is it's through the zoning department for the city that you're in. So you have to call and make sure that your area, because some areas in cities you cannot have a group home, and zoning will let you know. And then if you're a licensed home, sometimes they'll tell you there cannot be a multiple license home within a 3,000 square foot radius.
Okay.
So zoning will be able to tell you if there is another home within that radius. And what you don't want to do, I always tell people, during COVID, we made the mistake. We bought a home and it was 50 square feet short.
Oh man.
So we couldn't do a group home. But
Mm.
I mean, even though we ended up renting it out, Airbnb, but still,
Yeah.
we couldn't get what we were getting for a group home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was probably about, I would say, $30,000 a month difference.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
if we're haggling a couple, you know, couple dollars here and there, right? Um,
Right.
so getting to the quarter, are you saying is that like acquiring a group home that's set up in a way that it needs to be set up? Is that in a year's time, or is that less
Within a
than a
year?
year's time? Within a year, is that
Yeah.
less than a year?
It, it runs probably about 6 to 9 months to get fully set up, um, to get your license and to get, I would say, your access number, which is like your Medicaid number.
Is this a good investment? Obviously, you're not giving investment advice, but is this a good investment consideration for people to come in together on? Right. So if I'm like, let's say it's like two or three people, they're like, hey, listen, this sounds like a great opportunity. I got a little capital, you got a little capital. Why don't we look at this as something that we could potentially get going to create some revenue.
I think so. I mean, I've even did like one of the homes that we did kind of like a agreement, like an
Mm.
investment agreement, to where we had 20 people that took a small investment and
Wow.
invested into the home, and then it's like whatever the profit is split between them. So there's all kind of different options that you can do. We just trying stuff, trying to be creative, trying to provide like passive income for different people. And yeah, so yeah, definitely you could partner up with people, as long as I would say who's going to be responsible for the home.
Yeah.
Because in my situation, I have a partner, but we both, like, I was in banking, but I got my caregivers, CPR, I got all my stuff, because we refuse to let anyone hold us hostage to where we cannot go in the home and do the work ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Makes
I
sense.
worked in the homes. I did it all. So when I hire employees, I tell them, I've been there, you know? It's just I took what I had and I just duplicated and multiplied
Yeah.
it.
So we got a question. This one's from Brandy, right? She's asking, is there a staffing requirement per number of residents in a group home?
Yes, and it's going to be according to your there are state regulations, but it's going to also be according to your policies and procedures. Because like right now my policies and procedures say that we only need one employee per 8 clients.
Mm.
So, and that is within the state regulations. So we only have to have one person in the house, whether it's 5 clients or up to 8.
That employee living there as well?
No, no,
Okay,
we don't have any live-ins.
so they're just coming in, and then are they work? Is that like an 8 hour shift? Is that just a normal 8 hour type of shift?
We do 12-hour shifts. So
Okay,
we
12
do
hour
12
shifts.
hour shifts 7 days a week. Yeah.
Okay, now that sounds awesome. So we got another question. This is from Brandy also. It looks like Brandy about to get this group home going. She says, so you set your own policy and procedures based on the state regulations, and
Exactly.
are
Yes.
you so there's no teetering from that, right? That's just where it is, right?
Yes. There's no teetering. It has to be within state regulation. It's just, you can kind of I would say you can kind of mold it to your business, but you still have to be within what the state says. So
Gotcha.
the state, I think, is 1 to 10, um, 8 people to like one bathroom, things like that. So as long as you keep it within that, you're good.
How many group homes have you been a part of in your, since you've been doing this or in setting up? Like how many have you been either operating within your team or help set up?
338.
You keeping track, huh?
I've been waiting for somebody to ask me that.
Yeah, 300. Okay, all right. Now the reason why I was asking you that is because out of the 338, right?
Mhm.
Have any been very unique type of spaces? Have you had some unique spaces?
Unique.
Or have they been kind of pretty much all similar, plus or minus? Have
I'm
any
not all
any
sim-
like really unique spots?
The only unique spot was the apartment because
Mm,
I didn't even know you could do it in an apartment. And I had this woman and she wanted to do it in her apartment. I said, okay, well, let me check. They were like, yeah, she can do it. I did not think you could do it in an apartment building. So I would say that was very unique to me.
yeah, that's definitely unique. That's definitely unique. So 338. All right, are we going for 500? Is there a number? Or what are we doing?
I want to do 1,000.
Ooh,
I want
okay.
to do 1,000.
So 1,000 group homes,
Mm-hmm.
right? 1,000 group homes. And do we have a deadline for this? Are we like 1,000 group homes by
Now, I
2025?
don't have a deadline
Yeah,
because this process you can't rush.
yeah.
It's just that's the number in my head. I'm just like,
I
and
like
I've
it.
been you asked the golden question because I'm like I'm not telling nobody until somebody asks me, and
Yeah.
it was the one
I mean,
that
well, you are on the Imperfect Action Show. We are taking imperfect action. So,
asked. Man.
uh, Brandy's asking, where do you go to initiate the process of setting up a group home?
So where do you go? You're gonna go to your state agency. Look, I have a list of every agency basically, but it depends on what state you're in. Most times it's going to be like the Department of Health Services or the Department of Health, for whatever state you're in.
Let's see. Okay, cool. And then you have mentioned there's some states and some cities that is deregulated or whatever the case may be. Is that just because of zoning, or there's other reasons why you're unable to possibly set up a group home within some of those places?
Some places are like Louisiana, right? Louisiana told me they are not taking any applications until 2025. So
Okay.
there are some states that'll just, they'll put a mandate out and they'll say Texas was closed for a little while. They weren't taking any applications in, it was either Houston or Dallas, one of them, but they were closed for a little bit. So yeah, so there's just different states, and then with me myself, there's some states I just don't want to work with. Or cities too, like Chicago. I just put it out there. Please don't ask me to work for you if you in Chicago. That is rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some states that are very political, and and it affects the process. So I just won't do it anymore.
So if you like literally going from today to having a group home, I know there's obviously different variables, but how fast could you get one up and running?
Our record was 90 days.
90
So that was
days.
our record, 90 days.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah, it was. We were like, what the heck?
And then based on your model that you've seen with your 338, how many bedrooms seems to be, or what's the layout that seems to be like the best layout, or it doesn't even matter?
Perfect layout,
Oh yeah, what's
four
the perfect layout?
bedroom, two bath.
4 bed, two
That,
bath is the golden.
yeah, that's the golden spot right there. Four
Four
bedroom.
bed, yeah, 4 bed, two bath. I like that. So you see, I'm asking all these key questions. I'm gonna have to get something set up. So you have something coming up, right? You got an event coming up. So let's talk about this event a little bit. Why don't you break that down?
Okay, cool. So, it's called the Work Series. It's basically an event where it's me teamed up with two other partners. It is Shronica Holmes. She's from Texas, and then also Dwayne. He's called Mr. Group Homes, and he is from Cleveland, Ohio. And so they are both multi group home owners also. And so we just teamed up at an event in Houston, and it was just a good match. We had a great time. The event was very successful, and so we just decided to do a tour.
Mm,
So it starts in Atlanta. That's going to be April 14th and 15th. And then we will be going to Cleveland in June, and then Dallas, Texas in July. And so basically, we're just teaching, group home startup, how to get started, how to actually run the group home. We actually share forms that we use.
mm,
So all you have to do is take your logo and put it on our forms. We share a lot of information to where, like, last time there were people that actually own group homes that came to the event, and they were just like, wow, you are helping us to run our business even more efficient than we have,
yeah,
so it's just a total group home, or business, because you to me you can apply to any business.
yeah,
um
fact.
but it's just a good event, if you're interested in doing group homes. And then in Atlanta, we're also going to have cash flow Jeff there talking about rooming houses too. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So that's just so a rooming house is different from a group home.
It's still a group home. It's just another form of a group home.
Got you, got
Yeah.
you. Yeah, because I've definitely heard of of rooming houses too, but um, I guess yeah, I guess now that I
It's
think
a
about it,
group home.
it's a group home. Yeah,
Right.
it, it's a group home. So we touched on a lot of the what I feel like are the positives, right? It seems like this is a great opportunity for people to get some things going, for a small group to even come together and put some things together as far as these group homes are concerned. But what are some of the downsides? Like, what are some of the things that you would need to avoid or worry about?
Staying on top of your regulations.
Mm,
Yeah, that's my biggest challenge. Is just staying on top of the regulations, because the state has the power to come out at any time. They normally come out annually. If you don't have any deficiencies when they come, they can come back in 2 years.
mm,
So I've been in situations where some of my homes, they don't have to come back for 2 years because we be trying to be on top of it. But that is the most difficult thing. Is just staying on top of the regulations, being up to date,
yeah.
especially if you're smaller. Like me, I have a dedicated team member that does that. But when you're smaller and you only have like one or two homes, it's kind of hard to stay up on top of that. So you just got to make sure that you stay tapped in, and make sure that you stay connected, with your regulating agency so you can stay on top of it.
That makes sense. Also sounds like is that like a job for like someone else inside of your organization to really
Oh
stay on?
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not doing
yeah.
that.
That sounds like a whole person's responsibilities right there.
Yeah, and that's why I say, if you're just someone who has one group home, or maybe two, it's kind of hard for you to focus on your group home and keep up, so that would be a challenge.
Yeah, that sounds like a necessity to fill that role and give somebody that responsibility. Okay, so what's one thing, or maybe even two, what are some imperfect action moves that help you thrive in your business? Like what are some of the things you just didn't think about, or maybe stumbled upon, didn't overthink, but that's, you ended up getting a successful result from?
Let's see. Oh, I don't know. I guess I should have had an answer to that.
It's all good.
Um, I would say, um, oh, I know one. Using cash.
Mm,
Using cash. That was one. I mean, it's to me, it's an imperfect action. I'm not gonna say it turned out good or anything, but because when you tap into this industry, you're making an overabundance of money.
yeah,
And I wasn't educated on funding. I've never been the type of person before that used credit and things like that. And so just having access to cash, it's like I would walk in the car lot and be like, I want that van. Here's the check,
yeah,
And I was just using cash all the time, using a debit card. I did not get a credit card
yeah,
until 2 years ago.
yeah.
We were running off of cash. I would not recommend that
So
to anyone.
that definitely helped you grow your business as well, and then
It did. It did.
remove bottlenecks, remove financial bottlenecks.
Yeah, it did. But it's like, you know, it was imperfect action, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, well,
I
you
didn't know
learned.
any better.
Yeah, you learned, didn't know any better, but I mean, you had to take that action to kind of get the understanding, and then you got access to new information, and then make some adjustments, and you could see obviously how that made a big difference in your business. So
It
this has
did.
been great. Like this has been awesome. Amazing conversation. Learned so much about your journey with group homes. Just like state regulations. Um, you know, Getting the clients and paid through Medicaid, I think is amazing as well. Learning that to get a group home up as soon as 90 days. On a path to setting up 1,000. You're almost 50% way there, which I
That's what I
think is great.
say.
Yeah, because I mean, every group home you set up, you're helping people and impacting people's lives. So I
Yeah.
think that's amazing. And then you got this tour that's about to come up. So yeah, it's been great. So anything else you want to share with the listeners in real time and the viewers that are watching the playback? Anything, any gems you want to drop? Anything you want to share?
Well, any gems? I would just say, make profit while you're making an impact. To me, that is just like, you know, don't sleep on the service based industry. I tell people that a lot of people right now are looking, for the so-called passive income. Don't sleep on the service industry. It doesn't always have to be a product, you
Yeah,
know. It could be caring for people, and I feel like me and my passion for caring for people has put me in a position where I can do whatever I want to do, and it started in the service-based industry. So don't sleep on that.
yeah. I, I I would agree with you, and honestly, I think that is a product in a sense. I mean, caring
Yeah.
for people, yeah, caring for people is a product. It's not a traditional, tangible product, but
Hmm.
you're productizing the service,
True.
right?
True. Yeah.
So I want you guys to make sure that you follow at Myrie Hayes. I just put it in the chat at TheMyrrieHayes.
Yes.
Drop it in the chat. If you're interested in coming to the event, I'm also going to drop the link in the chat as well. She's going to be hitting her team is going to be hitting Atlanta, Cleveland, Dallas, April, June, and what was the other month?
July.
April, June, and July. I know it was July. I don't know why I was thinking
Yeah.
about April, June, and July. And maybe it's gonna be an encore city popping off. Who knows? By the time you get halfway through it, maybe another city
So
might,
I'm thinking.
might pop up.
I'm really thinking Vegas.
Listen, if you're in Vegas, I'm gonna pull up because that's down the street. And honestly, What are the regulations before I let you go? What are the regulations in Vegas for group homes?
You would just pull them up at the Las Vegas regulations,
Listen, I might.
Department of Health Services.
I've been thinking about
I
spending some
look.
more time in Vegas. So,
Link, Brandon.
huh?
I'll send you a link to
Yeah,
Nevada.
yeah, yeah. That'd be cool. I mean,
I,
I've actually been thinking about spending a little bit more time in Vegas. So, I might have to get a couple dollars together. Who knows? Might put something together. That'd be nice.
I'm working on a VIP event there at one of these big mansion houses. So I'll let you know if I have it.
It's been an amazing episode of the Imperfect Action Show with the group home queen, Myrie Hayes. Make sure again you follow her at the Myrie Hayes on Instagram. If you have not been able to ask any questions or you're watching the replay, make sure you send her a DM and ask her whatever questions that you would like to about group homes and maybe getting your own started, or maybe you just inspired and you just want to ask her a question that you didn't get a chance to. But we'll see you guys on another episode. This has been amazing. I'm Brendan, that's Myrie, and this has been the Imperfect Action Show.
Bye.